Here we are on flat with those chorales I just showed you and that I drew on in different colors. And these chorales, each one of them follows a tonic, predominant, dominant, and tonic fashion. Once again, the tonic note that we start and end with, that is our home base. That is where we want to start, and that's where we want to get back to at the end of a musical idea. In this example, we're in C major, so our tonic chord is C major, and it sounds like this. That should be a very familiar sound to us. Now, the second chord in each example is the predominant. In this first example right here, our predominant chord is the major 4 chord, in this case F major. So we start in nice, familiar, comfortable territory, C major, but then we're going to just leave that a little bit to get to F major. You should hear a change, like we're kind of leaving the house and we're starting on our way down the road when we go from C major to F major. So here's the first measure. And we haven't made it very far. Now, most musical phrases last way longer than 2 measures. We haven't made it so far, so we haven't made it very far at this point. But now we've gotten to the dominant chord, which means we've turned around and we're heading back home. Maybe we realize we forgot something and we need to get back home real quick. So this is what our G7, our dominant chord in C major, sounds like. We should feel some tension, like something's going to happen. We should feel a little bit of a grind between a couple notes in this chord, and that tension wants to be released by getting back to C major. So let's hear that 5-7 to 1 motion. So we should feel some tension here in G major, but then we make it back home and we find the thing that we've forgotten and we feel better that we have it now. So let me play that entire little musical journey for you now. This is 1, 4, 5, 1. So that's a very standard phrase, and here's very much a similar musical idea, except we have changed the second chord. Now, even though the second chord is different, it still has the same job as the second chord up here. The F major chord in the first example and the A minor chord, they both have that same job of predominant function. So let me play you the first measure of the first example so you can hear that 1 to 4. So it's us at home and then leaving home. Okay, now I'm going to come down and play the 1 to 6, the first chord to the 6th chord. This is the same kind of musical story. We're going to start out at home and then we leave, but maybe we hear someone yelling after us, like, hey, you get back in here because you can't leave until you do this. Maybe we forgot to do a chore before we left. This should feel different from the F major chord. Should kind of, it doesn't have a ton of tension, but maybe it just sounds sad or surprising compared to this. So here's tonic and predominant in the first example. Here's tonic predominant in the second example. That second chord's minor. We usually think those are kind of sad sounding. And then we have the same exact 5 to 1 resolution here. So let me play the second example here. We have, once again, tonic, predominant, dominant tonic function. And then down at the bottom, it's the same kind of story again. We have a minor chord as our predominant once more, but this time it's the D minor chord instead of the A minor chord. So it tells the same story, but maybe just with a slight variation. Here's the 1 to 2 chord in this example. So once again, this chord here is minor, so it has the same quality as this minor chord, but this sounds possibly different to you. I mean, it is a different chord, maybe it has a different effect. So one more time, let's hear the 1 to the 2 chord. And then we have not quite the same exact 5-1 resolution. I had to change a couple notes, but it's the same idea here. So this final example of, once again, tonic, predominant, dominant, tonic, motion, sounds like this. So the last thing I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to start at the very beginning, and I'm just going to play these 3 chorales uninterrupted. I'm not going to talk during them. We should hear kind of 3 different mini journeys going on in here. I'd be curious to hear which one of these examples is your favorite, whether it's the one with the 4 chord second, or with the 6 chord, or with the 2. My personal favorite is this last one, this 1, 2, 5, 1. That just has a certain thing about it that appeals to me. Anyway, these videos, I hope that hearing and seeing the examples of different functional chords made sense. I hope it helps you with the few questions on your worksheet. As always, feel free to reach out to me if you need any help. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you.